Anyone here know how to be funny? Does anyone here understand how to be funny? Because high key, being funny is really hard and that really sucks. Because it's pretty much the only thing keeping some of us from being completely undateable. And I'm not talking funny like that one guy, who's kind of dumb and does things that are kind of weird. Like, the guy who's unintentionally funny, so you're pretty much laughing at him than with him. I'm talking about being in a social situation, whether it be in a group, one-on-one, with strangers, and you're trying to make them laugh. Where you're purposely trying to be funny. Like, why is it so hard? We all know that one person where no matter where they are, it's going to be a good time. Their jokes and banter always hit, and it doesn't matter who they're around and what situation they're in. It doesn't even have to be in person. What they post is funny and what they comment is funny. They're naturally funny. And this is different when you're with your homies and you're just bantering. It's easy. It doesn't really matter what the topic or the situation is. It's easier to be funny and make jokes when you're around the homies. But out on a date or with a group of people you don't really know, it's pretty difficult. People like funny people. You and I both know that humor is attractive and it helps with social bonding. And if you're anything like me and you just have a boring life, humor is pretty much all you got. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the theory of humor and what makes something funny, and the things you can do to be more funny yourself. Ultimately, what it boils down to is that if it makes you laugh, it's funny. That's it. And I'm sure all of us can tell when something is funny. Memes, TikToks, tweets. Like, we can tell when something is funny to us, at least. Being funny is like your best friend's situationship. It's subjective, it's pretty inconsistent, and everyone and their ops have an opinion on it. So even though we've kind of figured out that what makes something funny to some people is pretty much up to the individual, there are some theories on why we find certain things funny along with like what we find funny. These aren't necessarily applicable to everything since we've established that humor in itself is subjective, but I think it sets up a decent framework for explaining the basis of funniness. Superiority theory. This is one of the oldest theories on why we find something funny, going back all the way to Aristotle and Plato. And it's exactly how it sounds. The main idea is that humor is rooted in mockery. Thinking something is funny comes from feeling better than someone else, being cooler and less cringe. Think of OG fail compilations, reaction vids to someone's bad takes or their bad fits, watching someone get ratioed on Twitter. You're laughing since you're outside the situation and you're not the one getting dunked on. The main critique and issue with this theory is that it doesn't really explain why we laugh with our friends and those close to us, and not all comedy is mean-spirited. Like, some of it is self-depreciating and some of it can be collaborative. And if the only reason you find stuff funny is because it makes you feel better about yourself, you're kind of a dick.
你的人生一无是处，你没有任何目的，你现在 kill yourself now.
Relief theory. This theory says that humor and laughter is how we release psychological tension or suppressed emotion, releasing the emotional or mental pressure we feel in a safe way, being able to joke about and make light of heavier or taboo subjects, or just to get rid of nervousness in some kind of way. Like when we encounter something stressful or socially unacceptable, we let it sit in our brains, just marinate in there. Then we make a joke about it in order to acknowledge it in a safe way and release the tension that's stored up in our brain. And generally this falls under things like sex jokes or dark humor, the ones regarding traumatic experiences or human suffering, making light of it, like, yeah, I got molested behind the IHOP dumpster, but, pancakes are pancakes, that kind of thing. It kind of explains why people laugh at things they, like, quote-unquote shouldn't laugh at, and why humor can sometimes feel pretty therapeutic and healing. You feel stress, you release that stress through laughter, and you have less stress. And the main criticism of this theory is that humor is only a coping mechanism of some kind. It assumes that everyone is always repressing something, and the only reason we find stuff funny is because the levity it brings.Incongruity theory. The last theory is probably the most accepted theory. It's similar to how comedians write jokes nowadays. While superiority theory is about how humor comes from feeling superior to someone, and relief theory is all about releasing mental tension, incongruity theory says that what makes something funny is the perception of something incongruous or out of place, something unexpected and different. It's the typical setup, then punchline. Setup is to create the expectation of an outcome, punchline is the subversion of the expected outcome. You find the unexpected to be what makes something funny. But this is just a theory.A humor theory. Theories are nice, but as we've established, humor is subjective. What one person finds funny might be offensive, confusing, or just mid to someone else. And on top of that, sometimes we just find things funny, even if it's really stupid, like Hawktua, Among Us, and this is what makes being funny so hard. Humor doesn't always make sense. Overall, humor, being funny, is kind of like flirting. The moment you overthink it, it's Jover. That interaction is cooked. But with enough practice, you too can be funny. Not that I'm funny, because you know coaches don't play. But here are the key points. 1. You must observe. It's easier to be witty or joke about stuff that you've seen or that you are currently seeing. That way you don't need to make stuff up or think of imaginary scenarios. It allows you to look for patterns in order for you to subvert the expected outcome. You also become funnier when you point out or notice specific things, because being too general doesn't add anything to humor. Like, hey yo, is that guy wearing Shaqs? Ain't no way you're still wearing and ones. Or anyone notice how she keeps checking her phone like LeBron just DM'd her? Or one of my coworkers is hitting on my work mom and it's really uncomfortable. The world is a weird and funny place. There's lots of stuff you could joke and banter about. You just gotta keep those in mind. Along with that, it helps to be relatable. Noticing common ground and making jokes and poking fun at those things make it easier for other people to get on board. It makes them more comfortable and feel less awkward. The more awkward they feel, the less likely you are to be seen as funny. Leading me to my next point. Number 2, you gotta know your audience. You gotta read the room. Make jokes that fit with the people you're around, along with the situation you're in. I mean, you don't have to do it if you don't feel like it, but tailoring what you say for the people around you makes it easier for your jokes to land. It helps to have normal conversations and to feel it out before making certain jokes. Like bringing a picture of your boss's wife to the work hear me out party will probably get you in hot water with Cindy and HR and make your other coworkers feel really awkward. But making that same joke around your homies during a 2 a.m. Denny's run would bang. And when you're joking or bantering, you need to make sure you mix it up. Use different types of jokes and humor. Sometimes you use exaggeration, maybe some sarcasm here and there, point out something weird you notice, make fun of someone, make fun of someone's strengths, make fun of yourself, subvert expectations by answering questions wrong. Yeah, just mix it up and don't use just one method. Because if you only make fun of someone, you will appear mean. Only make fun of yourself, and other people will wonder if you're depressed and have confidence issues. Sometimes you'll just need to answer questions for real, and other times, give sarcastic or exaggerated answers. Mix it up. Number 3, whatever you do, it's all about the delivery. Good delivery signals people that, hey, this is a joke, it's funny, it's alright to laugh. It just sets up the overall vibe. If your delivery is good, even a subpar joke can land. Delivery is built on 2 things: when you say it and how you say it. How you say it is pretty easy. It's your tone, your facial expressions, your body language. It's overall how you present yourself while making the joke. Match your tone to the joke, deadpan stare if you're trying to give a dry delivery, or become more animated when exaggerating something. But that's the easy part. When you say it is the hard part, because the timing is knowing when to deliver the punchline, like when to pause to build tension and when to shut up so people can laugh. Timing includes how fast or how slow you talk when making a joke. When storytelling, you want to slow down and exaggerate. If you're giving a deadpan delivery, you want to make it fast and concise. But when in doubt, slow it down. Don't get too excited, speak at a normal and natural pace. Speaking too fast makes you sound nervous. And make sure that you avoid rambling, because extra words just convolutes whatever point or joke you're trying to make. And number 4, you need to commit. You just gotta go for it. You try out a bit, you say something you think is funny, and if you end up faceplanting, it is what it is. The human brain is wired to respond best to negative feedback. You learn by failing. When you make a bad joke and it falls flat, your brain starts to pick up on what doesn't work and what does. All the greatest comedians and all the funniest people started somewhere. Make jokes about everything. Try to be funny as much as you can, because the more you try, the better you'll get at it. So the 4 main things to help you be funnier. Make observations. It gives you specific material to work with to be funny. Know your audience. Tailor your jokes to the people you're telling them to. It'll make it easier for them to land. Choose your delivery. Ultimately, when and how you say things determine the funny level of your joke. And commit. Make jokes. Say whatever you think is funny. The more you try, the better you'll be. I'm not a funny guy, but I try to be. My nightmare is waking up in one of those YouTube 1v10 dating videos and just folding, where no matter what I say, there's no laughter and no enjoyment, it's just cringe. I'm not really that interesting, so humor is the best I can do, and even then, I'm not that great at it, because it's hard. But like all things, I just need practice. I understand the theory, I think, I just need to start executing, and so should you. But chances are, you're probably funnier than I am, so let me and everyone else know what we can do to start cooking in the humor department.
My favorite expression in English is the one that says, never bite the hand of the one that fingers you, something like that.